the part that people need to take away is if something is like calling to you, or if something is like living within you and you know, but you're just like suppressing it and pushing it away and just being like, nope, like everything's great, everything's fine, whatever, we're just going to get through it. Like, where in your life is there that like call to do something, to learn something, to become somebody else, to do whatever it may be? Like, where are you not looking at that? Because that's what this trip was, right? It was like us constantly going back into old patterns and then us being called into this new life and this new version of ourselves.
Hi, I'm Dave Tina.
And I'm Angie Tina.
Welcome to the 10-Year Marriage Podcast.
On this podcast, we answer the question, what if your marriage came with a 10-year contract?
How would you show up if there was a deadline in your relationship? What would your life look like in the future? And how would you recommit every day?
Come with us on this journey as we navigate as partners, entrepreneurs, and parents in this big life we've created.
So, listen, if you've been following, you know we've been traveling a lot. We've been to Austin, Texas. We've been to Portland, Oregon, and then in rural parts of Portland, we've done the heart of LA. We just recently went to Santa Barbara as well after dropping the girls off for camp.
Yep. And Solvang and Santa Ynez.
Yep. We were in New York City, in Manhattan, to see family, and in extension of that, went to Long Island, where I'm from. We've been around the country.
Yeah.
We've had this feeling of like, how do we change, expand, move on? I mean, just yesterday was my 30-year anniversary of being in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Right out of high school, graduated, 30 years.
Yep.
Which is incredible. It's like longer than a lot of people have been alive.
Yeah. And I'll be out here 20.
Yeah. And this year's been a transition year. I mean, if you're into that type of stuff, what are we, the year of the snake, shedding.
Yep.
All the people we've talked to, it's like this is going to be the boomerang year, or where
transformation.
Transformation. And it's been as true as advertised, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Franklin and Nashville has been a thing because you fell in love with this place.
Yeah.
And as our life is evolving rapidly, we are getting freedom of location, which is one of the 4 freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of time, freedom of location, freedom of money, freedom of relationship.
Yeah. I think one of the best things you use to describe it is expand. Because when we're looking at these places, it's not that we want to just completely, and sometimes I do want to just completely uproot everything, but we have such a good foundation right now that we want to build upon it. And so finding that location and finding those areas where we can do that physically, I think is really important to us. And that's why we've been on this journey and this search.
I think there's 2 main points to this, which we've been, I mean, it's kind of like the real-time epiphanies, right? You don't necessarily set out with knowing what's going to happen. You got to experience it, and it comes alive, like talking through it or working through it, like working your way through it's actually a thing. And so the 2 big things I'm thinking of right now is it's similar to like the growth curve. What do you bring with you and what do you leave behind? And sometimes we have this feeling of like, you got to like burn the boats, which makes sense. But there's also this, like, there's a lot of great that can come with you. And the conversation of, is it an or is it an and, is a big one. And so I think it's a metaphor for what we're going through in our life. Because you could easily be like, well, this business, the way I'm doing it, isn't speaking to me anymore. But where's the nuanced 2mm shift that'll make you fall in love with it again? This relationship is going stale or it's stagnant. Is it not the right one, or does it need a change? Does it need a new contract? Does it need an honest conversation? And so I think I know that's what's happening, especially with this, because there was a lot of pressure on this one.
There was a lot of pressure, and it revealed and exposed a lot of us.
Why was there a lot of pressure on this one? Because you fell in love with it.
I fell in love with it, and I think we'd been talking about it for such a long time that it was one of those things where I almost set up this expectation, and then I was like, well, I don't want to put all my eggs in a basket, and I don't want to get disappointed. And so I felt defensive every time you would have, a comment or something would come up, that was kind of the topic. That was the theme of the weekend or the couple days that we were there. Yeah, we set I put a lot of expectation on this place because I do love it. I'm ready. Like if you told me, let's go, I'm like, let's do it. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. And
you're not quite there yet.
There's pros and cons to that. No, I'm actually there. Right. The second part is you got to listen to your own sayings. Like we talk about all the time, breaking the box. Mm-hmm. And then you love to say what, right?
There is no box.
There is no box. We've said this so many times just on this podcast.
Yeah.
In your version of there is no box, like you're actually saying break the box. Let's try somewhere different. And I'm like, there is no box. Mm-hmm. If we play this game of pure abundance and expansion, then there's no one place you live. There's no one business you do. There's no one relationship you have with each other. There's multiple layers to the game.
Right.
And that's when things just start opening up.
Yeah. And I think, in all the conversations that we had these past couple of days where it was, maybe you pushing back, part of me was going internal so many times and having the conversation with myself on what could this look like, right? And the possibility of the expansion, not just of our relationship or our physical area, but myself, right? Because I kept falling into this pattern of almost having this resentment towards well, I'm not going to be able to live my dreams and be happy with the thing. And I'll just settle and I will sacrifice, what I really want just so we're all happy. Yeah. Right. But I tried to constantly reframe it on what is it trying to reveal to me on what is the possibility of having it instead of an or, right? And being maybe I don't have to look at it in this frame that I've kept it in for so long and can expand out of that and look at it from not just another point of view from myself, but also as a family, as a couple, from your perspective, just things like that. And what's interesting is that so many times in a relationship, this has shown up, right? Goes back to all the way when we were dating on pretty much every move we've ever made. I get into this part of myself, right? Where I'm like, well, no, this is it. This is the place. This is what's happening. And I'm
patient.
I'm the least impatient, or I'm the least patient person. But how I'm okay, if I just can trust the process and I can just get through this part of this J curve, this uncomfortable conversation, uncomfortable time of my life, uncomfortable feelings that I'm feeling, whatever it is, if I can get through that, where can this go? And I just keep saying, every morning I watch this reel and it says, first thing you should say is show me how good it can get. And so every time I think about that scarcity or that lack, I just rephrase it with, wait a minute, just show me how good this can get.
You bring up great points. And I think what came up for me is we got to get past this. In order to have something new and great, we have to give up something in return. That there's some kind of scale.
Or a sacrifice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have that patience, but the beauty of you is you have movement. Right? And that's what has worked for us in the past and still does. You get a hair up your ass about what do we have to do? I'm there with you. It's just, I'm looking at it
you're the pumper. You're the brake pumper.
I'm not a brake pumper. I'm just as impulsive as you. You're completely impulsive. You're an 11 out of 10 and I'm an 8, 9. I at least go, okay, great idea. Let's now make it even better. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
And so when you were getting frustrated, I was like, come on. You're talking about this, I'm not going to get what I want, or at least you're implying. And I'm like, you're having this conversation while we're actually in Nashville and Franklin. I'm here looking at everything. We're also trying to figure out how to bid online for not our first, but our second horse. Mm-hmm. It is kind of ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, it's the same thing, and we should know better at this point how this goes, because you do it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. You've done it with every house we've bought. You've done it with everything we do.
Well, yeah, and all your things come up too during all of those things. And that's why it's interesting to like recognize, and that's what I was trying to do on this trip, is to recognize the patterns that we kept going back into, where I was like, wait a minute, he's getting defensive about that. I'm counter defensive. And now I'm like way in my masculine. And now this is going to be a bad balance, and it's going to like break a lot of other shit. Like I kept trying to like look at it and be like, okay, wait a minute. We're just constantly jumping into this pattern from everything, on how we fucking rent the car and get the hotel room, and who's driving the car, and where we're eating, and how we're getting around on GPS. And oh, I missed the turn, and now you're pissed, and now I'm like, well, shit, you fucking do the direction. Like all of these things.
Not to mention the most you've communicated about this entire situation
is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. How fucking wonderful. I mean, like that. This is the most you've communicated about it.
I'm sure our viewers and our listeners appreciate that.
And so the way Angie navigates is we're trying to figure stuff out on the fly. So if we're going to check a place out, because she'll be looking on the maps, and she'll see a little place she likes. So instead of just pinning it and saying, okay, navigation, take us there, she'll try to give me directions by just following it.
Yeah, but that's fun because it's like an adventure.
It's
like
not
a puzzle.
It's not an adventure, especially when you're in the middle of the city of Nashville and there's a lot of shit going on. It's tough to drive, and I'm driving, and I drive like a New Yorker, so I can handle it.
At least keep things interesting.
This is a metaphor for the way we do things.
Yes, that is true.
Right? Like we kind of have a destination. We're kind of figuring it out as we go, rather than just be like, yeah, let's put in, you start doing it. You just put in some random spot, and at least we had some directions to make the experience a little bit better. And I know that is the tweak I want to make to the way we do things. I could wear as a badge of honor the saying, jump out of the plane and we'll build the parachute on the way down. Oh, that sounds real sexy, like exciting and adventurous. But how do we look on the way down? Are we white knuckling it? Are we freaking the hell out?
No, you look like you're skydiving. Have you ever seen somebody skydive?
Yeah. Or are we like enjoying the shit out of it?
Yeah.
Or at least like having more faith in the process, right? Because I understand like giving up control and surrendering to the outcome. Okay.
It would be interesting to have you plan a trip one time, like everything from like the hotel room to the car transfers to the rental car to packing for the kids to getting just everything that I do, because I would be so curious to see how it turns out. And I even hesitate saying that because I know you would be like, well, I'm going to fucking nail this and I'm going to make it the best fucking trip you've ever seen in your life, which would be amazing. But part of the frustration
would be giving up control, number one, and number two, it being great.
Well, and part of the frustration is that like you get so pissed at these things, and I'm like, well, then feel free to pick out a restaurant. Feel free to
listen. I totally commend you of doing that. You do a great job.
Thanks.
But there's improvements that need to be made. So let's walk through this. So here we are. We're driving through Nashville. We're driving through Franklin, and yeah, I'm reluctant because now I'm feeling all this pressure. Mm-hmm. I don't want to leave Vegas. I love Vegas. It's been where I met you, where I had our 3 kids, where I built an entire career, and I have so many great friends. And like this place has given me more than I can ever expect.
And I agree.
But I have absolutely outgrown this version of my relationship with this city. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. There's an expansion time. So when you outgrow something, it's like, okay, what could I add in? And for the longest time, California was going to be that thing for us. Mm-hmm. We were going to have multiple places. When you talk about expansion in California, no one really bats an eye because so many people do it.
Right.
Or Utah, or Arizona, or any
Montana,
of the Southwest, right?
Yeah.
Or like we had a house in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours.
It's like a summer spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was reading a sports article about the Golden Knights signing a new player. And Bill Foley flew in from his Montana ranch to help him out, to introduce him and whatnot. And I was like, Bill Foley has houses everywhere. His private jet. He doesn't live in one spot. He's got houses in multiple places. He has means. Now, given we don't have the money Bill Foley has, but we do have means. We can expand. And here's what I loved. We've had this call. We want to build a retreat, a ranch. We want to get in touch with the green, all the things that Vegas doesn't have, right? Because Vegas is incredible for what it has. Easy place to live, all the great things. And so we're driving in like the woods, countryside. It is as country as you can get, right? Now, I'm having all these, like my mom lives in Texas, and especially in 40 years when she moved there, it was the sticks. And like, I've also been around horses my whole life, and I've been in the countryside. And to me, it's like, if there's not a 7-Eleven or, you know, a Whole Foods or Starbucks close, I'm going to be like The Shining, like going to go nuts, right? And so I'd look at these incredible estates, this lush green, the barn dominiums, the horses, and I'm like, this is incredible, but it's too far. And then you'd be like, take a right here. And I'm like, holy shit, we're right back into civilization. Like I was really being able to try it on and see, which is another point. Let's cut right here to, if you're not trying shit on, you'll never know.
Right.
Like you got to stretch, right?
Right.
And so I was like, wow, I can see this. Can I see giving up everything that I've built in Las Vegas for this? That's a stretch. But I could see this being a part of my life. And I was like, by the time we were done with this trip, I was like, yeah, I want to get land. I want to build a barn dominium. I want to have retreats out here. I want to spend summers. I want to spend as much time. I want to see what it's like to have the kids in hybrid school. I want to be a business person in real estate and coaching that I'm like, oh, I don't just serve Las Vegas and Nevada. I also have my license in California. And I also have expanded out to my East Coast place, my East Coast empire, my East Coast Elavana in Franklin and Nashville, Tennessee. And guess what? I could already imagine a place or a summer thing in Montana or something in Tuscany. Like I'm looking at this almost as like a location, a lifestyle stack. Now, given money plays a part, but you have to have abundance around the ability to produce. And it doesn't all have to be all at once.
Right.
I mean, if we made it all at once, we'd be looking at like trying to buy a $5 or $6 million estate while having all the expenses in Las Vegas and not living there full time is hard. So that's where like the communication and really being like, well, what are the rules? See, the thing about rules like really blow me away because it's like the box. Like I'm living my life based on rules made by another man or woman. There are no rules.
Yeah.
So now that you hear me saying that, how do you feel about that? Right? Like,
well, I think you hit spot on. Like, and I think we talked about that, like just trying it on, right? Like, how could this look? What's the possibility of what this looks like? Because again, like you mentioned, like I love our life. I love my routine in Las Vegas. I love our friends. I love, like, there's so many things. I love the weather other than July and August. Like I love the rest of the year, but I think trying things on like that is what gets me excited because it's like, it just shows you what possibility looks like. And what's interesting about this trip is like, we could have easily gone. And at one point we were there and I was like, well, fuck, we don't know how to have a vacation because here we are. We were in the car for probably 9 hours one day. Yeah.
The last day it was, let's just go explore.
Yeah. We went down to like Columbia, right?
Yep.
And like all these different areas. And part of me was like almost disappointed in us. Like maybe we don't know even how to go on a vacation. But you reminded me on our walk, like the point of that trip was to explore and see as much, like gain as much like radius and knowledge on the land. And that's what we did. Like that's what we accomplished. Like we didn't see any live music. We didn't go dancing. We don't drink. So we're not going to bars. We're not like going to spas.
I did have a nice glass of wine with Dave. It was delicious.
Totally. But like, you know, we went for that reason and I think we accomplished that. I think we really did get a good idea of like, look, this is where the grocery store is. These are how close the schools are. This is what this would look like. And that's what we try to do. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. And then the last day, like we got in an argument. And listen, my coach Garrett always mentions, he's like, couples get in arguments on vacation, especially when it's just the two of them.
Yeah.
Because you get to stop and really like spend only time with that person.
Yeah. Every single minute.
Every single minute. And you get a reset or an opportunity to look from outside the bubble to inside the bubble of what's working and what's not. Then we're adding a layer on of our whole entire life is up for grabs.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really big takeaway the last day. I was like, holy shit. Like, if this doesn't work out, like, this could really potentially drive a wedge in our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
That's how high the stakes can become.
No, 100%. The last day, I mean, that was interesting because that was my takeaway too. And I know we talked about it a little bit on our walk. That was the whole conversation, right? Like, I was like, maybe we want completely different things. Like, I don't know. Like, and if that's the case, then what does our life look like? You know what I mean? That was a takeaway for me too. And it was part of that burning everything down and letting go of those old stories and letting go of those old frames to then, how do we reset, realign, and reconnect on what we do want and how we can make it work?
It's risking it all to have it all.
Yep.
I mean, you're finally stepping into your needs and wants, communicating them maybe a little bit better. And I'm here saying, like, I want this, maybe not in the same way you want it, but we're on a similar path.
Yeah.
And letting it work through different timelines.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking we're both thinking we control timelines, which is neither one of us do.
No, it's not on our timeline.
You know, one of my favorite sayings is expectations are just premeditated resentments. And expectations are what the story we put on things, the timelines, the way it's supposed to go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we build these stories in our head, which is great for manifestation. It's awesome. But the timeline is the outcome is really problematic. So if we have a story in our head on how a conversation should go or how a relationship go, how anything should go, and then undoubtedly it doesn't go exactly the way it's supposed to or in our head, then we start resenting the outcome or we resent the other person when you had no control of it in the first place.
Yep.
Right? And so I'm sitting there going, well, shit, she's going to resent me if I'm not completely on board. She doesn't even realize, even though I'm trying to communicate with her, that I am processing this entire thing. I am getting excited, but the times I get excited, I don't even want to share it because if I give you a little bit of excitement, are you going to run completely with it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're both kind of like doing this dance.
Yeah.
Which every couple does, which led me to the biggest realization. I was like, you know what the 10-year marriage is? Here's what it is. The reason why marriages start falling apart or why people who are together start really disliking each other is because looking at them is a constant reminder of the promises they made to themselves that they did not do.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad enough when you break promises and you don't go for it and you don't risk and you get disappointed with yourself. But that partner that you spend so much time with is an extension of that. So you're hating yourself so much for doing it. You're so disappointed in yourself. And then that disappointment projects right into the other person.
Yeah.
And so at the end of that 10-year contract or any time during the relationship, you're starting to have these feelings of resentment and loathing towards the other person. I guarantee you have those feelings towards yourself. And if you don't do something, or if you don't have
or
something,
not even those feelings of that loathing, it could just be the disappointment that you're not showing up in whatever which way you want to, right?
Sure. And then both people in the relationship start accepting playing small.
Mm-hmm.
They start accepting that we're never going to do this. We've talked about it, but we've run out of time.
Yeah. Or this person's never going to understand or never going to see my point of view, which if you never even try or have the conversation, well, good luck even allowing them to get to that point.
Well, think about it like this. And this is the extension of what I talked about. We were talking, I was like, if a person is mad that they're not doing something and they blame it on somebody else, that's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
No one is stopping. We also got to bring up the kids
Mm-hmm.
and how this played a role in the conversation. Because I kept saying, like, well, what about the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be able to live this? Especially when I was like, this is the boonies. Like, I'll never forget the part where we were like driving through Leaper's Fork, and I was like, this is gorgeous, but this is too far out. And we made one turn, and there was this place called West Haven, which is like almost the most perfect community I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, almost too pretty.
Tree-lined streets, its own restaurants, its own little downtown, its own golf course, its own country club. And they're right on top of each other, but these houses are $5-10 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is our neighbor. You can do everything here. And then you go 2 more miles, and you're in the middle of everything, right? But I was like, how are our kids going to live on a farm? And you had a great comeback. Like, you called me out right then and there. I mean, what'd you say?
I don't know. What did I say? I have no idea.
You were like, is it about the kids or you?
Yeah, because I feel like they are adaptable, and I feel like it would be the best thing for them. I think our kids would thrive in nature and thrive on a farm and thrive in like a different environment. And yeah, is it going to be it's going to be uncomfortable for us. Like getting on a freaking land with chickens and shit. Like I don't even like birds. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
so this is this is the conversation though of like how many couples or people always talk about doing something and never doing.
Yeah.
And they use
or never try.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or they use the kids as shields or excuses, or they hide behind them of reasons why they don't do things.
Yep. It goes back to even your point on how it all stems from you, right? Like I think that's where you were going before too, is like how it doesn't matter the situation. Like it always comes back to if you're triggered by something, it's typically because you're not showing up in some way. If whatever is like there for you is typically a mirror, right? And vacations are a perfect example of that.
Well, it also continues with the box,
Mm-hmm.
right? We've talked about on multiple episodes how we feel about education. We just had a conversation today with the Alpha School.
Yep.
And little did we find out they're going to be in both locations.
Yep.
They're going to be in Las Vegas and Nashville.
Yep.
And that one tuition would pay for both places.
Yep.
Talk about expansion. Talk about even if the kids, and this is a projection on our kids, even if the kids were like, oh my God, my friends, my this, like you're going to have 2 sets of friends. You're going to have 2 schools. You're going to have 2 experiences in this life.
Yeah.
Like you have this Elavana house, I call this, which we're in right now here in Las Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
One experience. And then this barn dominium retreats, and they're going to be part of putting together these things, these experiences while living them.
Yeah.
Talk like this is the infinite game that I am interested in, yet so many parts of this journey could have been sabotaged along the way. And that's what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Was we had to also try on the fact that if we don't figure this out, this could be the beginning of the end of our relationship, which is walking the walk of the 10-year marriage. Are you willing to go there? Are you willing to go into the dark parts of it? Or is it just going to say surface level?
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, I don't want the kids to be broken up. What's it going to look like on the money? I got to find somebody else. How is my dream important enough? Like you've been such a supporter on the transitions I've made in business and the risks we've taken, and knowing sometimes more than I do about what I'm supposed to do, right? And this way, it's a 2-way street.
Yep.
Being like, this woman has infinite wisdom and innate sense of what's next. And then me also coming back and curating and editing a little bit and be like, we could do both.
Yeah. Tweaking it.
But what's the downside of it? What's your concern would be like, you know, just dabbling and not trying the whole way, right?
Yeah. But I 100%. I think that, you know, even something as simple as making the phone call to the Alpha School today and like getting more information, like that was the first step. Like listening to that conversation, I was like, this is a whole new path. This is a whole new journey that we can explore, that we can look at. But I think that the part that people need to take away that is if something is like calling to you, or if something is like living within you and you know, but you're just like suppressing it and pushing it away and just being like, nope, like everything's great, everything's fine, whatever, we're just going to get through it. Like, where in your life is there that like call to do something, to learn something, to become somebody else, to do whatever it may be? Like, where are you not looking at that? Because that's what this trip was, right? It was like us constantly going back into old patterns and then us being called into this new life and this new version of ourselves. And it was this wave of like going back and forth, even so much to the point of like just a single walk was one version of us into another version of us, right? It literally was a cohesive experience like that we just like transitioned into. And I think that people and couples have to be comfortable with
Getting
looking at that.
uncomfortable.
Exactly. Comfortable with getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because if not, the uncomfortable is going to come.
Yeah.
The more you avoid being uncomfortable, the more likely you are going to become uncomfortable. And it's going to hit at a time when you no longer could do anything about it. When it is too late, when you are 65 or 75 and you're like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And that is the saddest thing.
Yeah.
Right? We've played this game so many times and we've tried on so much. I mean, shit, I'm getting rid of the Lamborghini. I've tried it on, right?
Yep.
We've done it with the RV. We've done it with the Coeur d'Alene house. We've done it with multiple businesses. We've lived in multiple spaces. We tried living in Frisco and we have our license in California. And we have tried this all on. Some people would say you're searching and it's never enough. No, the game never ends.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make it end, then you might as well just pick out the plot in the graveyard because you may still be physically living, but you've died a long, long time ago. And if there's one thing you and I are completely soul connected on, is we refuse to live that way. Now, if we can maybe lean in and enjoy the process a little bit more.
Enjoy the flow.
That would be nice. And
We're working on it.
I would say that's what I'm searching for or hunting down. And no. I'm inviting that in. So yeah, I mean, if you want to make it happen, if this was a game like Amazing Race, or it was a hostage scenario and you had to figure this out for either something positive like a prize or something negative like do it or you are dead. You'd figure it out.
I agree. And I have a totally different, I already know it exists. I'm just waiting for it to show up.
That's bullshit.
No, it's not.
You do know it exists. That's one of the best parts of you. You have faith and you have vision. But you're impatient with it.
I know. That's why I'm learning to be patient.
I have vision working on faith. There's the difference. So I can make a vision come to life. You can manifest it. When we're on the same path,
We're unstoppable.
There you go. So the takeaway for this episode would say, listen, you're going to have to try shit on. And as you try it on, it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes. It's going to feel really weird. But you have to remember, there are no rules. You don't have to parent a certain way. You don't have to have a relationship a certain way. You don't have to live a certain way. You can make it up as you go. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, you don't have to apologize. Because better to have tried and lost than not tried at all.